Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and clap. There we go. Here's a clapper board.
Well, actually, I'm only in 10 seconds is up there because the number of people in the waiting room comes up on screen with a wee eye. So you don't need to take account, and I just need to wait in that wee eye coming up.
You're ever going to get it? You might not get it on that.
I am getting on this. I can see Rennie's in the room right now, 35. And if you count the 7 watching on Facebook, it's 47 now. But what I can do, David, is I can put it up on my big screen so I'll be able to see the comments better. Anyway, folks, you might have worked out, I'm still having community problems with my computer. So I'm going to have to wipe the computer and start again. I have changed mobile phones. I'm on a new mobile phone. But it hasn't sorted out my problems. Whatever has happened, it's just effed it. So I'll need to take everything out of my computer and reload everything back into my computer. Failing that, I'm going next week to buy a new computer.
These things are sent to try us, Mr. McGuinness.
Aye, well, I need a new one anyway. This one's not compatible with what the hell's on here? I'll try to switch accounts.
Windows 11 is very good, but you'll find it will run out in maybe 6 months' time. They'll be asking you to go into Windows 12. So
right, problem here. That's better. View your channel. Don't know what happened there.
Can't watch today. Mr. Milligan is the wrong side of my screen.
Where you going?
Very good.
Right, hopefully we'll see the comments better on the big screen. Let's have a wee look and see who's in, shall we? Because I can do it on the big screen now. With Pet's in. Stephen McNeil's in.
Mark Telfer's in.
Margaret James, Christina, with Pet, and the Two Davies is in. Yep. Rosie McGregor's in. Stephen McNeil's in. Thank you, my love. Laurie Hayes in. Eddie Wolfie's in. Wee Bird's in. Pete's Music's in. Robert Bruce is in. Wee Bird's in. Alex Adams in. Aki's. Mark Telfer. Chris Fisher. Melanie. Ginger Giraffes. Lorna Shields. Who else we got?
Snabbis. That's a good one.
Tina Chalmers. City Flyer. Laurie Hay. John Baxter. Desiree. Kirsty Falls. Marion Bryden. Hi, Marion. Jane McClug. Stephen Kelly. Charles Campbell. Duncan McCretcher. Right, I think we've got them all, David. I think we've got them all. Right, we're up to 86. Right, first one up the day, David. It's the 25th of the 8th, 2025. It's the Two Davies. And of course, we're in the Scottish section first, David. And the Tory MSP, Jamie Balfour, quits the Tory party.
David, you're going to have to phase the camera because your microphone is very directional. But when you go off like that, that's it. You can't hear you.
Okay. So, Tory MSP Jamie Balfour quits the Tory party, accusing the new Tory leader, Russell Finlay, of taking the party to reactionary politics like the political parties at Westminster. Balfour, MSP for the Lothians, actually one of the voted in MSPs as the list. Doesn't like the direction of the party, so he's quitting. He's going to sit as an independent until the next election when he's going to give up.
Yeah, I mean, the really rather interesting article in the National today reference where they reckon that Mr. Finlay is going to take the Conservative Party in Scotland down to the point where it's irrelevant. It doesn't really do anything. So,
Well,
and this guy seemingly, he might be a Tory, but he seems to be a decent bloke. He's got some decent values, not stupid, not ultra right wing values. He's got the old fashioned Tory values.
country first, people first.
Yeah.
All the usual shit,
Yeah.
But obviously, a bit unusual for the Tories. He was a campaigner for disabled rights because he was a disabled man himself.
Yes, that's right. You were saying he's only got one arm, and on one side, he's got a stump on the right hand side, and his left hand side, he's got just 2 fingers. That's it.
The stump. I can't remember if it's left or right on side with a couple of fingers on it, and on the other side, the arm at all.
Right.
But it hasn't held him back. He was a successful solicitor before he became an MSP. He's a traditional Tory. He doesn't like the action of politics. He doesn't like this popular stuff and how it's gone and how it's playing out in the party system.
Yeah.
And he's just went enough's enough. And now he's the second one to quit the Tories. The other one was Jamie Green, who defected to the Liberal Democrats earlier this month, or last month. And it would appear that Russell Finlay is not popular. And
some of the things he said has been pretty outlandish. Really?
They have been pretty wacky because but we'll get to that when we get to Russell Finlay later. But as I say, this seriously undermines his authority as the leader of the Conservative Party here in Scotland. And as I say, I could see a challenge coming up for this guy. They're sitting at 13% on the polls, and they're tying with Labour. So it shows you the traditional parties here in Scotland are taking a whooping as well, with the exception of the SNP, who had a polling rate of 37% last time out. And that was a YouGov poll, which is highly unusual.
Yeah, but that poll knows fine well that if Jeremy Corbyn, when he comes online, and they already have a Scottish branch already set up, right, is that they're going to take a fairly fair percentage. A lot of the Scottish public are going to vote for Jeremy Corbyn's party, whether we like it or not. That's the way the thinking's going at the moment.
Now, as I say, the two defections basically are undermining the party, the Conservative Party leader at Holyrood, because it's quite clear he's not popular. David, we'll get to what his plans are if he ever gets into power, which is highly bloody unlikely at this stage. It's all right, Neil, I haven't lit the candle, so you don't burn your arse.
For any of these people, even Anna Sawato, when I am the First Minister, I listen to that and I go, no, you're no for real, pal.
Aye.
No for real.
Right, let's move on, shall we? Because let's face it, it's a bit sin picking while it's still the silly season. We'll be glad when they go back to work next week and start to get something to get our fucking teeth into again, David. Right, we're on a Free England's new campaign.
Oh, yes. They brought out the bus, the red bus that had the Brexit message on it. Save umpty £1 million if we for the NHS if we just kick ourselves away from Europe. And it's like what they've done is they've taken the same bus and they've said kick out the jocks, save 240 million a week.
Now, of course, we know that Westminster won't be liking this campaign for Free England. But what it does tell us is that Westminster's years and years of myths telling the English people that we are subsidy junkies is backfiring on them, David.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the thing gets me is it's amazing how easily folk in England have bought into the whole subsidy junkie thing. because that's a driver for it all, right? They want England to have independence, to have to be forever independent, as they were independent from Europe. Now they'll be independent from Scotland and all the rest of it, right? And they're using the subsidy junkie nonsense. That's all I can say.
Right, and Marion Bryden says, back to work, laugh out loud, what work?
Yeah.
Well, do you think that increased childcare provides itself, Marion? Do you think the rollout of school meals provides itself, does itself? Do you think the social services run themselves? That's not how it works. The administration actually has to run all these things. So, but when we talk about back to work, we talk about getting the policy programme up and running again after 7 weeks of summer holidays. That's what we mean by back to work. Because there is a policy programme which is constantly being carried out. Right, so the idea is that if they ditch Scotland, they'll be 240 million better off. I can see Westminster politicians starting to pull their fucking hair out.
Don't get me wrong. Is anybody on the pro-independence side in Scotland can say is we think it's a great idea making England independent, because at the same time Scotland becomes independent. However, be cautious, because that will be taken to be weakness on Scotland's part, and that means they can go and they could make we'll have the oil and we'll have the gas and all the rest of it, right? And you go, fuck off, totally daft, right? End of story. You've got to be always bargaining from a position of strength.
Well, Scotland will be, if we ever get to that point.
We'll get to that later on, yeah. Okay.
Right, let's move on. Toothless party conferences are a real threat to grassroots democracy. And this is the rise of the party executive committees, David. Now, we've seen it right across the political parties, where the executive committees are now setting the agenda as opposed to the membership. And we've also seen this happening within the SNP.
Yeah.
And the executive committee has decided that the 43 associate branches, who are being called rebels in the press, of course, have decided to put a contrary motion to the conference on the route to independence, and the executive committees banned it from coming to the stage.
Yeah. It's important to maybe explain what the setup is. In the past, it was a case of the members basically drove what the leadership was doing. Simple as that. They've changed that. There's been an ultimate change. And it says when the SNP went into government and the latter was thought to outrank the party, suddenly the annual conference found its deliberations downgraded. Meanwhile, the agenda committee, now the conference committee, has supposedly built in a majority of original members, although they too are elected at annual conference.
What do you mean by original members? The party was formed in 1937. Is there anyone still alive?
Well, the renamed conference committee now comprises just 2 rather than 4 members of the national executive elected from their own number, and a gender balanced 10 ordinary members. However, it has 2 conveners, the party deputy Keith Brown and the secretary Alex Kerr. That duo plus the current policy convener are a pretty heavy-duty lineup, so it will take some brave souls from among the membership to quibble about the wording of the final resolution. Now, I tell you, I can't make it to the conference, but I need for some brave soul to stand up and go, do you want independence within the next sort of 3-5 years or whatever?
David, stop reading off your phone. It's pretty rude.
Or do you want independence maybe starting off again 20, 30 years. If you want it 20 or 30 years, allow them on the stage to continue doing the nonsense that they're doing. If you want that independence a bit sooner, get rid of that lot off the stage. Get rid of them and allow the members to go in and discuss what's the best route forward. There's all sorts of routes.
Let's address the point of a Covenanter soldier. I think the new independent party to allow SNP to panic and actually start competing against an actual nationalist party. I'm afraid you're obviously quite out of touch, Covenanter soldier. We'll get the Greens and we've got the Alpha Party. So no, there's still no competition. And if we really want to win independence, we're going to have to shove this party in the direction we want it to go in. And the only way to do that is for people to get back fucking involved. Or these arseholes bailing out saying, oh, I can't do it anymore, I can't do it anymore. Well, you know what? The more you diminish the party of independence, the less fucking chance we have of getting it. End of story.
I'll translate that. Any new party starting off
splits the vote.
Maybe what, 20 years? Something like that. Start to
what did I tell the Alpha Party? Check back with me in 30 years and see how you're getting on. So either way, a new independence party or a stick with the path we're on, either way, it's 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't see it that way. I see that the so-called Rebel, although we can call them what their associate branch group, have amended their original pledge to declare, if we get a pro-independent Scottish Parliament, to start negotiations within a year, hoping that that would bring the party executive room to their way of thinking and allow the motion to stand. We know they're not going to let it stand.
Why enough are we waiting for a year in that circumstance? You know, you think it's like, if you remember, we had a chance of doing a plebiscite election, the general election, right? And what happened was you had people going, oh, well, in the case of it being a win in a plebiscite election, what we should do then is we should make it whereby we run a referendum to see if people want independence, right? And you say, what the hell's going on? Why on earth are we doing it 2 times? Why on earth are we putting ourselves through 2 elections to make sure? Absolute idiocy, complete nut. It's like you got a new salesman on board, not like I had salesman working for me on my company, right? They were told, do not.
Charlie, I can't play with you. I'm in the middle of the program. Bloody cat wants to play.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
I had salesmen, right? And the idea they were told, look, you talk yourself into a sale, right? But the inexperienced salesman will not hear the noises and not go, right, fine, I've got a sale, right, sign this, right? An inexperienced salesman will talk himself into a sale and then talk himself out again. Yeah. And that's precisely what you're looking at doing with plebiscite and then following a referendum on the back end of that. It's absolute bloody nonsense. And people need to wake up to that and go, for goodness sake, smell the bloody coffee and let's get on with it.
Aye.
The country needs independence. And it's straightforward. It needs independence.
Well, I would say the way things are at the moment, both sides of the argument have a bit of merit. The only one side is a political precedence. But whether they would respect our precedence or no, I don't know. And Covenanter soldier said, fair enough. So we need to force the SFP to actually behave. How do we do that without money changing their minds? Money.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've been looking at the papers, mate. These guys are doing it with a party that's got a £500,000 fucking deficit. They're not there for money, mate. And if you're talking about an SNP MSP salary, you kidding? I'm going to give them a bed for that fucking rubbish for the amount of responsibility they've got. 62 grand.
And
I'm pissing up against the law here.
Nathan McAllister's also saying, David, guess can we legally use a future referendum that only people born in Scotland are allowed to vote, as too many Englanders don't want to leave.
Well,
Look,
it would be a wee bit unfair, but yes, we do control the rules.
can I just get it absolutely right? Right? It's called a campaign. The people from England that have moved here, me talking to, we've got a big campaign group called England for Scottish Independence. We saw them at the last referendum. Okay, that was 11 years ago. But at the same time, still in all, there should be an easy way to explain to people, look, it's nothing against the people of England. We need to shut off the economic tie-up with Westminster and the political
style.
Yeah. So the social partnership, social union will still exist. So it's not like as if these people have got to think, well, if I vote for independence for Scotland, does that mean I cut off the rest of my family that's still down in England? Don't be daft. That's nonsense. And actual fact, I understand it because I felt the opposite way when I was living in England, and I heard the SNP talking about going for independence at one point. And this was pre 98 when the Parliament was coming to buy. There was a talk that was going about taking kids in and all the rest of it, right? And I started to get worried down in England that it would cut me off from Scotland, the land of my birth. So no, it wouldn't have done. So at the same time, the people of England that have moved here need to realise they might live here. We might consider, you're Scottish, all the rest of it. Yeah, fair enough. But most important thing is that if you vote for independence, you're voting for the country to do well. You're not voting against your people that still lived out, your family that still lived in England.
That depends on your point of view, of course.
Oh.
If you understand the fact that Scotland walks or if Scotland leaves, then your family in England are going to get poor, then it's a consideration.
They have the choice, if they have the wherewithal, to move their family up. We need more.
Well, they have been doing. They have been doing. In the last 5 years, it comes to 250,000.
Yeah, we need more. We need more.
We need to be able to convince these people that when they're here, they've come here for better services, they've come here for better life, vote for it.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Unions accuse PM of failing to deliver Grangemouth cash. United General Secretary Sharon Graham says it's no wonder British workers are turning away from Labour when they fail to protect British jobs. What do you make of that, David?
The British, the administration, as I see it, were never ever under any. They didn't give any misdirection on that one, because effectively they said it would be the private sector that provide the money for it.
Correct. That was something called the Willow Report, David.
That's right.
Now, of course, when Sharon Graham was talking about British workers, she doesn't understand to Westminster that means English workers. So they saved the English steel works while allowing the Welsh ones to go under. They saved the English refinery while allowing the Scottish one to go under. So actually, Sharon Graham's got it right. They are saving British jobs because British and English are interchangeable. The rest of us are no part of the party. The rest of us are no in the gang.
Right.
You know, we're just colonies to be raped.
Yes. Or colonies not to be raped. Basically,
so
I say.
With British workers. When she's talking to British workers, she's going to have to go and explain it to Westminster, because as far as Westminster is concerned, Britain and England is interchangeable. The rest is are not involved.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But I've seen some of the comments on who we should and shouldn't allow to vote there, David. Folks, the truth is, of course, we could rig the game in our favour. We do control the elections. We do control referenda.
Yeah.
Right. But I said this a long time ago, and I don't know why they haven't moved this. Because we control elections and referenda, except for on the issue of independence, what we should be doing is running a couple of referenda a year on taking back powers to Westminster until they're left with fuck all.
No, but it's the old xenophobia. It's basically this, right? Fear of other. And what these people that have put that down as, they're scared that we're going to get such an influx of English people that effectively outnumber people in Scotland, right? End of story. That's it. And it's like what I believe in more than anything else, right down to my stocking soles, is democracy.
David, they believed that for 300 years, think they could overwrite our fucking culture.
Yeah.
What happens is when people come here, we don't become them, they become us.
That's right.
It's always worked that way. They assimilate, we don't assimilate.
It just takes time. That's all it does, right?
Roughly about 7 years before they totally identify with the place where they live.
If you want to talk to people that are from England, be nice. That's the first thing, right? Treat them as they should be treated. They're human beings like you are, right? And try and convince them the best idea is Scotland becomes independent.
Everyone I've met so far, David, believes that anyway. It's the reason they came here.
Yeah.
I mean, that song that was out again, I can't remember who did it, Moving to Scotland.
David, that's you personally, and I respect that, right? But there are other people that came here for maybe a job or something like that, and they're not so switched on in that direction.
I do get that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've recently had 4 or 5 English drivers start. And when I've been speaking to them about why they came here, they just went fucking mental down there. We come up here to live in sanity.
Yeah.
We come up here for better services. We don't mind paying your taxes.
That's one of the verses in your Coming to Scotland song.
Aye.
Let's get them put it up on the YouTube channel. I think that'd be an idea.
Aye, because let's face it, they are coming through. They're coming through in vast numbers.
Yeah.
They're looking for sanity. They're looking for clarity. They're looking for Scottish independence. Now, a few that I have met out and about, like Say and I did we met Gingers and Ackies in Lanark, and we were in a cafe there, and Say and I had Saltire, so one were jumpers and that, you know, and a couple of English folk came in, they were sitting next to us and things like that, and they were talking about 80s and things like that, and they were saying, we think it should be independent and all, you know. But whether they're just saying that because they want to keep the peace, you never know.
You didn't see them when they went round the corner. They went, "Make England great again."
Aye. Well, we've already covered Make England Great Again. That's the Free England mob that Nicola Sturgeon was going to think about fronting when she was talking about going to England, to London for a while. Hey, let's move on. Russell Finlay, Tory leader, claims civil service stuff with SNP cronies, and he said he'd clear them out if he became First Minister. He also says he would take a claymore to government waste.
Thank
God this guy's never going to.
You give us a description of what government waste is.
Oh, well, he did, aye. Free prescriptions, free education, free higher education, baby boxes, free sanitary towels, anything like free dental for the kids, free bus passes for the kids, free bus passes for the 60-year-olds.
That's you there. The list's about 200 long, right?
Yes.
So anything that's on that list of what Scotland gets, because we've got the SNP Scottish Government, right? And that don't get me wrong, it's we might have it if we went with other different parties that were Scottish, like the Greens or whatever, but I don't think it'd be quite so all-encompassing as the SNP. David, what are you doing?
I'm putting up a super chat, David.
It shakes. The phone shakes dreadfully every time you do that.
I'm sorry, there's not a lot I can do about that.
Like, you know, plug the mouse in your ear or something like that. No,
I don't have a mouse on the phone.
Thanks, Laurie Hay. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you, Laurie.
And what does it say? It says, all the food bank coffers. And thank you very much, my lord. Thank you.
Yep. Right, I'll try and hold it steady while I take that down. Right, hopefully that's cleared the screen. Right, so Russell Finley's never going to be near power, and by the looks of the way the Conservatives are looking at him here in Scotland, I think he might be gone shortly anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. At the end of the day, Neil Finley, he has said some ridiculous... Russell Finley, sorry. He has said some ridiculous things in the past. He really has. And it's like, I'm not even going to quote... I used to look at him and like, bloody hell, what the hell is he saying? Right? So, he will be going, I reckon. He's just an utter, as far as I'm concerned. He's like the one guy, 30p Lee. Yeah.
Aye.
Just...
Mark's got a cracking comment there, so I'm going to put it up. There was a particular Tory MSP who got into trouble for this. Wasting public money in stupid FOIs like how many salt sachets were used in the Holyrood canteen. And that's how the unionist parties have been wasting public money, folks, in case you weren't aware.
Yeah.
I'll stay at peace phone. In case you weren't aware, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in that Parliament along in Holyrood have been wasting public money at £35 a pop, flooding the Freedom of Information Officer with stupid fucking requests. One Tory MSP from the North East racked up over £100,000 worth of FOI requests in a year.
I remember one of the FOI requests was to the SNP is how many sheets of toilet paper did they use in the Holyrood toilets?
He had an AI bot generate questions and fire them after the FOI officer.
Why do we allow these people? Well, I know why. But it's temporary, guys. It really is. We need to be in a situation whereby it's illegal for a party in Scotland after we're independent to speak in our legislature if they're from England.
Now, English parties should be excluded. They have the power to do it. They have the power to tell the Tories and Labour, if you don't register in Scotland, you're not starting the next election, because we have the power over elections.
No, but they call themselves, you've got the Scottish Conservative Party, the Scottish Labour, all the rest
That's
of it,
because, as you know, David, they're allowed to have 12 regional names, political parties.
No, but they're still one in the same party. At the end of the
yes,
day.
I know, but Holyrood has that power right now to turn around and tell the cuckoos in the nest, if you want to continue in this parliament, you need to register as Scottish parties. Why won't they ever do that? Because there wouldn't be any other parties in that parliament, because they're the only ones that are strong enough to stand on their own are the Greens and the SNP. My party membership and donations are not big enough for them to sustain themselves and be able to compete in elections. Whereas because the Greens only run on list normally and have a healthy membership, it's the cheaper way to do it. Whereas Labour and Tory run in all the constituencies and they couldn't afford it if it wasn't for Westminster.
Well, it brings me on to some, after independence, I suggest we make a few additions to the Scottish legislature, whereby parties over a certain size actually have funding from a central core. But that's all allowed. They're not allowed any donations. They're allowed exactly that amount of money they're given in order. And if they try and donate, if they try and take additional measures out from donation, then they're taken out of any future elections.
They can't have the be financed by the lobby groups. That's what we need.
Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Just look at America, and you know.
Look at Westminster.
Yeah, but definitely look at America. When you look at the last presidential campaign, it was all about money, money, money. Now, I know that to a lesser degree that's the case in Westminster, but the big case obviously is in America. Yeah,
A lesser degree. A lesser degree.
yeah,
In
yes.
Westminster. I doubt that very much. If I was
No,
a lesser degree,
so,
how did
David,
every... Wait a minute, David, let me finish this.
David,
To a
David,
lesser degree. If it was to
David,
a lesser degree,
David. It's a lesser degree in terms of money, but I
that's a
can't.
stop. I'll tell you why it's no. Because how does a wee wench fee Liverpool with no money enter politics with nothing and a couple of years later end up owning a third house costing £800,000? That's no a lesser degree, David. That's a fucking massive degree.
Dude, wind your fucking neck back in,
David, my
right?
next move, you're saying to a lesser degree. It's per capita share would be the same, if not more.
All right. Look, enough. We can
Right,
agree to
let's
disagree
move
too much.
on. Let's move on. Home Office to send refugees from asylum hotels in England to Scotland when they have to close the hotels, apparently.
And if directly off the back of that, we've got Nigel Farage.
We'll get to him in a minute when we talk about this one.
Nigel Farage
What's about Cooper up to here, David?
what's she up to?
What's she up to?
Basically, she's throwing a problem away. She's
No,
throwing
she's doing exactly what I said this morning. She's clearing out the homeless problem that would be in England and sending it to Scotland.
that's right. She's moving away. Just what I
That's
said.
right. So basically, what she's doing is, as I said this morning when I was reading when I was talking about this in the headlines, what she's basically doing is she's going to take all these asylum seekers who are going to be forced. They're going to be forced to shut these asylum hotels because of the court case, right? If they don't win their appeal. I said that would lead to a massive homelessness problem because they don't have anywhere to accommodate them. Well, it appears she's going to just export them to Scotland.
She is doing that right now.
Well, Glasgow does take more than its fair share, yes.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like we want them. We do want them, but we also want a situation whereby we've got the money to be able to do it.
Aye.
Right? Because that's your future population. It's guys, you need to understand when it all comes to all, Scotland, we've got still 5.4 million, 5.5 million, right? It's not enough. We need about 10 million. We need 15 million actually, right?
But it's about building the infrastructure, right, David?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like, we ain't gonna, how are you gonna do it? You're gonna fucking knit them. No.
No. Of course, Nigel Farage, as you said, he's got a different idea of what to do. What do you want to do with David?
Oh, no, please. If you want to comment on Nigel Farage, fine. I'm not going to get into it because he's a no, but I hate the guy. Right?
I know, but
Seriously.
you're the one that brought this up and maybe put it down as a subject. Now, Nigel Farage, you tell me, wanted to mass deport these people.
Yes. He wants to get them away. He wants to do what Trump is doing. Contact Nicaragua and get them to build a place where he can send people. In actual fact, I'll tell you now, see when it comes to all, and you look at the crossover between the USA and the UK. It's like the USA, they're now eyeing up people from other backgrounds other than being illegals, right? And we're also looking at the possibility of them taking on Mexico, attacking Mexico. When all you've got is a hammer, every problem becomes a nail. We've got a similar thing. We've got at the end of the day, we could end up whereby everybody gets sent to Hungary or whatever.
Well, to be fair, David, all he's really doing is re-rinsing the Rwanda fucking scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because Rwanda's just Nicaragua.
Now, I saw Rwanda back in the papers again. What's it we're doing? Some other countries using. Oh, it's no. There's another country using it. Rwanda now.
I know Israel was using it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. to be fair, I haven't kept up with what's going on in Rwanda. I believe there's a conflict going on there with the Congo at the moment.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's not a safe place.
No, it
It's not
definitely isn't. It's in the middle of a proxy war between a couple of different African states, you know,
Yeah.
and it's for refugees from everywhere, including Eritrea and places like that.
I've got a good friend that's going to Congo for 3 months on a nursing contract, and it's dangerous.
Did you mean a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, or a null and void contract?
Oh, please, David. Thank you.
It's my-
Listening.
The artificial intelligence was listening to me.
You know, that's why I keep it off. It does tend to interfere at times when you don't expect it to.
So anyway, Nigel Farage, apart from that and want to deport everybody, and he wants to get rid of or destroy the NHS. Yeah, it's all looking pretty black, isn't it, if you go that direction? Why would anybody in their right mind vote reform or Brexit or UKIP or whatever they're called this bloody week?
Because the state wants them to. Because you get right down there, Nigel Farage is a state good.
Yes.
This is the state protecting itself.
What he's talking about, guys, he's talking about Whitehall.
I'm talking about the state, aye.
Yeah, he's talking about Whitehall. Whitehall actually control everything, all the parties and all the rest of it, right?
Yep,
So
the
the
power
end
of
of
the
the
privilege
day,
and the patronage.
it's like this is England. This is there'll always be in England. There we are. And that's exactly where it comes from.
Now, as I say, Farage is being sponsored by the state. If people are goonish and stupid enough to fall for the idiot, it's because the state wants them to. He's been promoted by the state broadcaster. He's been promoted by all the billionaire press owners. And he is being promoted by the political parties who are bending to the will of a man with only 5 MPs. Who ever heard of such nonsense? If people can't see what's going on in front of their faces, they are really, really needing to improve their education system.
See that vein that's at the top of your forehead?
Aye.
Really, really pulls out when you start doing the old rant. Be careful.
I know. But that's just my brain pulsing because it's fucking annoying me, this stuff.
We'll go pop sometime. Be careful, right?
It won't go off, David. If it didn't go off this morning when I was going off from one, I was expecting there to be a space shuttle to get my fucking cranium back this morning. I was going full out Sammy Wilson.
This is all to do with him having to change his blooming phone. Can you imagine with something really important happens to him? It's
something
like
happened to me has happened to me.
Any brain would.
Something really important happened to me. That's fucking. I'm going to have to wipe everything from my computer, start again. It's just it's fucking terrible stuff.
World's smallest strawberry.
It might not be a stress to you, tech whiz kid, but it's a fucking stress to me, alright? In fact, probably to save time, I'm going to nip out and buy another fucking computer. Which, for your information, will not be a laptop.
Well, I'll just try a smaller strawberries.
Aye, that's what you do. Right, let's move on. Elaine Maxwell is making a bid for freedom, David.
Aye. There's a few different ways of looking at this. I mean, when I read it at first, I mean, obviously, you did kind of way. I think it said you haven't been following the Epstein thing.
Aye.
And a lot of it left me cold, right? But looking at it now, you look at everything that's going on, you think to yourself, all right, Ghislaine Maxwell, she wants to be free. Like any murderer or whatever would want to be free, right? At the end of the day, she's seen an opportunity. Trump is inside the Epstein files, without doubt. No matter whether somebody says the Epstein files don't exist, they do exist, and Trump doesn't want to release them. And what he's doing is, or what he's done is, he's given Ghislaine Maxwell we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And she was on TV last night, and I listened to it, and I laughed my head off. And she said, "Oh, Mr. Trump, he's what a gentleman. He never any problem, all the rest of it, right? And he never did anything like that. And my goodness me, honestly, it was, and this was Ghislaine Maxwell effectively doing that because she knew fine well the next thing that will happen is the presidential order comes out, the book, release Ghislaine Maxwell, blah, 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 and that's it, done.
To be honest with you, David, I don't think they're going to have much choice, are they? Because Pam Bondi back in February told us all that she had the Epstein files on her desk. 4 or 5 weeks ago, Pam Bondi told us that the Epstein files didn't exist. At that point, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer fired in an appeal. Who wouldn't he? She's in jail for trafficking, and apparently no trafficking happened. So if I was Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, I'd be firing in an appeal. Because let's face it, and then the FBI director went along to speak to her.
Yeah, if there's no evidence, then what's she doing in prison?
Correct. That is exactly the point, and that's the point her lawyer was making.
There was evidence, and we actually have our own version of it. Prince Andrew.
Yes.
The 12 million was paid over by the old Queen, God rest her soul, right? Okay, to support her boy.
God rest her soul. The woman paid out.
So David, as a mother after her son, if his son's a blown murderer, the mother would still go on. Right. She was no different when it comes to that, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's like she paid over 12 million. What was there no evidence? Yeah, there fucking was.
They paid 12 million for the evidence, mate.
That's right. Exactly.
But I say, I understand where Ghislaine Maxwell comes from here. February, Pam Bondi's got the files on her desk ready to release them. 5, 6 weeks ago, they don't exist. Well, if I was Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, I'd be firing on an appeal because she's in jail for nothing.
Yeah, and but believe it or not, there's actually photographs of Trump being at the parties. Yeah, with his arms around women, 12-year-olds and whatnot, right? Allegedly, right?
You know he run the Junior Miss World beauty pageants, don't you?
Yes, I know. And he said one of the greatest things about running these beauty pageants is I get to go everywhere.
Aye.
And I get to see everything.
So, it's fair to say we know where Ghislaine Maxwell is coming from.
Dirty bastard.
Aye.
I mean, being a kid, boy, you end up with a pile of blooming Mayfairs or whatever it is, right? Okay. And you get to a point in your life where you go, don't need that anymore, right? But it seems if Trump has never grown up. He's never ever grown up in that sense.
Right, we've got 10 minutes, so let's move on to the Israel situation, shall we? Israel pounds Gaza in advance of ground offensive.
Yes.
Well, they announced they were going to do it last week, didn't they?
Yep. So, in other words, it's the same position as we were last week. Apart from this week, they're actually doing it.
Yes. Now, UN says famine in Gaza is failure of humanity.
Yeah.
Actually, humanity's on the side of the people of Gaza. The failures in government. Western governments.
Yeah. Western governments. Yes.
Who have tied the UN's hands.
Who do you say is the best Western government at the moment regarding, I would say it would have to be South Africa, because they actually brought a court case. But you look at The Hague and you think, okay, why hasn't The Hague given as a genocide, like the result, right? Because that's what we've been waiting on. We're waiting on The Hague saying, there you go, it's genocide. They haven't done that. Why not?
Because they've been pressured by the same people to keep stum and to draw it out as long as possible by Washington, by Westminster.
I would actually go further than that.
Berlin.
I would actually go further than that. I would actually say that, okay, there's 12 of those judges, right? One of them is pro-Israeli, right? Fine, okay. But those 11, I would say Mossad has got their fingers into that one. And said, you blowing, You just keep it going as long as you can.
The size of the panel on a UN, on an ICJ hearing. Have they dropped it from 15 to 12 judges?
It's 12 judges. One of them's pro-Israel.
David, there's 15 on the panel, mate. It's always
Sorry.
an odd number.
I'm not getting my numbers wrong. Sorry about that.
Yeah, mate.
15. One of them is pro-Israel, so therefore 14 of them could be easily. You say a word, you're dead. End of story.
Well, they've been trying to do that with the international prosecutor, haven't they? Karen, whatever his name, Karen Martin, and he's just stuck his finger up to him and say, "Come and get me, you fuckers." In fact, they've already made an attempt in his life, I remember right.
Yeah, he might say that in public, might say that, but you don't know what goes on behind a man's eyes.
Right, also in Gaza, Israeli Defence Minister Israel Katz says Gaza will be wiped out unless Hamas surrenders on Israel's terms. And Israel's terms is you pack everybody up and you get off the strip and you leave all together.
And there are people that have been, if you just go onto Al Jazeera, you actually see people that are like there and they're being interviewed and they're saying, we'll never leave.
Oh, actually.
If they want rid of us, they have to kill us.
Yep. Well, when life gets that bleak and all you've got left is the land under your feet, that's what you're going to fight for, dude.
Right.
You know, they try to evict us to your lands, and I think they find trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the offer that's been made by Israel. Everybody out the strip and hand it over to the people or to the Israeli regime, or you all fucking die.
Do you think there's going to be a reckoning here?
Aye.
I think at the end of it.
Yes, I will say. I'll tell you what. Starmer will end up in jail.
Right.
Lammy will end up in jail. I think there will be a reckoning on this one, David. I also think the UN structures might get changed in this one, especially the Security Council, because there's only 3 groups in that. So there's 3, basically 2 actually, 2 groups that are stopping the UN from being able to do anything about Gaza, and that's the UK veto and the US veto.
Yeah, that definitely needs kiboshing. It really does. But here's another one. Do you think that a lot of countries are keeping silent on this one because they're thinking, means we can sort out the problem in X, Y, Z? Yeah.
Aye.
Do you think?
Next time I'm in this, hold on to address this one comment to the audience. Next time I'm in Discord, I'm not in Discord often. I'll have a look at what you put on Discord, but I don't use Discord very often with Pet, to be honest with you. I'll be on Discord tonight.
Right, you're finished. You're finished. You two can email each other, all right? So worry about it, right? What we're discussing is, do we think there's going to be any payback at the end of the day, right?
Yes, I actually believe there's going to be world leaders.
Or is it possible that other world leaders are looking at this as a possible solution for their problems?
No, I think there will be. I think this time round, David, there will be heads roll. I think UN structures will be restructured after this one.
I'm not so sure.
I know you're not so sure. I'm maybe just a bit hopeful, but I think this time round there will be a reckoning.
Yeah.
I think the peoples will demand a reckoning, because you've got to remember, we're all demanding that the Westminster government do something. The Westminster government is ignoring the people. 76% of people polled UK-wide want Westminster to stop selling weapons to Israel, to sanction Israel, and to cut diplomatic ties with Israel. But
and what's happened?
Sorry?
What's happened?
No, the government's just ignoring the people.
Right. So, is there anything that's going to change in terms of?
No, what I'm saying is at the end of it, I think that 76% will take this government to task. And I think heads will roll.
We've had court cases that have been started but I haven't heard any court cases having an end, having something come through, as in it's now been found that the Supreme Court have found that the British government are wrong and the case of da, and they should change what they're doing. I haven't heard anything of that whatsoever. So as far as I can see, the UK government are writing aye, and they're not worried about how many people are standing outside with green, white, and black, green, red, white, and black scarves. What was that?
Here's an interesting for you, for Asia Ninja. 196 countries in the world, and only 80 of them have Hamas as a prescribed terrorist group. We know what that is. The most powerful Western group.
But yeah, that's one thing. You look at an organisation like Palestinian Action, right? They're prescribed, and wrongly prescribed, because they do not kill people, right? Hamas do kill people. Okay, you could take it right back to zero and go, it was only Israeli Defence Force members that got killed. I don't know. I wasn't there. Didn't see that, right? But the fact of them being prescribed as terrorist groups, you say to yourself, does that not mean the IDF could be a terrorist group? There's a damn good argument for that one, I can assure you, because of where the IDF came from.
When you're aware of the genocide conventions, then you know fine well, sorry, the Geneva Conventions, then you know fine well that actually Hamas aren't a terrorist organisation. They are a resistance group who are being oppressed and have the right to resist.
Yeah,
that's why only 8 of the 196 countries prescribe them as a terrorist group. Because under the Geneva Conventions and the rules of conflict, these people are occupied and they have the right to resist. So they are not terrorists by any measure or means.
Yeah.
But people have to understand that, David. And I guess your average pleb in the street does not understand that.
Well,
Now, quick round up on what's going on in Ukraine. Because we'll have to finish up now, David. So we'll just run through it, right?
yeah, sure.
Putin advances in Donetsk. People are fleeing into other parts of Ukraine to get out of his way. Trump cuts long-range missiles from Ukraine, and Zelensky vows to fight on as the beleaguered country celebrates its Independence Day. So the meat grinder in Ukraine goes on as well, with no end in sight. And as we know, Trump and Putin have been playing a blinder. They intend to rape Ukraine.
You know, the only world leader that joined Zelensky on his Independence Day was Mark Carney. Mark Carney.
I wasn't aware of that, David, to be honest with you.
To be honest with you, it's absolutely. I mean, Mark Carney's done a deal with Zelensky whereby they'll produce drones together. So in other words, Canada and Ukraine will produce these drones. Then Canada will keep some and Ukraine will keep some.
Yep.
So, and the reason why the Zelensky is proceeding as he is because it looks very, very much like Putin has the upper hand.
He has.
But the people of Ukraine that are fighting aren't giving up. And I'm not talking about the person that walks down your main street in Kyiv. I'm talking about the actual soldiers. They're pounding the Russians, and also they are making great inroads in hitting infrastructure in Russia.
Not anymore.
Yes, they are.
Trump's just cut off the long-range weapons.
Yes.
So they might be getting just inside Russian territory, but they're not going much further.
They get long-range weapons now.
Sorry?
Ukraine are producing long-range weapons. It was on TV last night. They're actually producing long-range weapons themselves.
Good. Well, that's what they should have been doing. The minute the US sent them a couple of long-range missiles.
Knowledge on this is out of date at times, right? So, but don't be so headstrong on things.
I'm not what I'm
sometimes
saying is, David, what you're saying is how I would have done it. No. The minute the Russians sent me a weapon, I'd have broke it fucking down, found out how it worked, and made it myself.
don't you think they did that?
Well, now you come and mention it, aye.
Right. There you go.
But at the same time, David, I'm not keeping up with things abroad the way I should. I'm having a quick look before this programme because what's going on here is more important to us. You know? And what's going on here in Scotland specifically is more important to you and me than anything else.
Yes.
You know? I mean, you and I have got an uphill battle to fight with the SNP coming up.
That's the one whereby at the conference it's going to take some brave person to stand
Well, you're going
up.
to have to do it digitally, and if I can get delegates passed, I'll do it physically, all right? Because you can get delegates passed online.
Yeah.
It just means sitting through it all. And then when the chance comes to vote, you get to press a wee button on the screen.
Right.
So I did it a couple of years ago that way, David.
Okay.
So it can be done.
Right.
It was set up during the pandemic, which you'd be aware with the digital conference through the pandemic.
Well, it would be nice to actually put out there and ask the question just before they go of if people agree with that way of thinking of do we get rid of the the agenda parade that we are seeing. We're actually seeing whereby the leadership are allowed to affect the agenda rather than the membership. Do you think that's right or wrong?
No.
Who do you think should be up? Should it be leadership that wins on this, or should it be membership?
The membership should always be driving the political party, David. You know that. It's a grassroots movement. Sorry about that comment coming back up against folks. I've tried to scroll down the page again, but on the phone it's difficult. Right, David, that's us early the hour mark, and I've got work to go to, so
Okay.
we're going to have to wind this one up. This has been difficult, but I'll get working on getting either a new computer or getting this one.
October, Nathan. It looks like October is the answer to what you're looking at. The main the conference is going to be October.
Aye, it is actually. Aye. Right, folks. Thanks very much for your super chats. Thanks to the moderators for moderating. Thanks very much for tuning in such high numbers again. And David, thanks very much for putting up with my nonsense today because I've had a stressful couple of days.
It's a repeat of the other day there. Listen, man, just wind yourself down a bit.
I'll wind myself down a bit. I'll go to work. That normally fucking winds me down a bit, all right?
If you can, take it easy and just think to yourself, if it all goes up in flames, as long as it doesn't affect Sarah or the house, right? Then what the hell?
If it's not in flames, I hope that fucker's in it. But as you know, it won't affect her, David. She's a dragon.
God forgive on that one, right?
What? No affect her. She's a dragon. You just sleep through it.
She's a human being. Stop it.
Not at all, dear boy. Not at all. Right, David. Really do need to knock this one off now. It's after 5 and I've got what we go. Okay.
Oh, Mr. E, super chat, 20 pounds GDP. It's lovely. Thank you very much, sir.
Wait a minute, see if I can get it up. Nah. Nah, it's not coming through.
No, come on.
Nah. It's not coming through yet.
Hey, look, we'll just have to live with the fact that I've read it out. Mr. E, thank you very much, sir.
Aye, Mr. E, thanks, Mr. E. And I maybe yet catch you in the after chat tonight after 10 o'clock. I'll be in. All right, on Discord. And then I'll have a look at that. That list of how the 196 countries could bypass the Security Council. They haven't done it yet, but I'll have a look. See
there was an attempt to do it way back at the start. I was talking October 23, so maybe there was several vetoes after that, and it was during the course of that. I don't know whether it's. I think the best idea is junk the entire UN, start again.
No, I think the best idea is to throw out the countries that are holding back it as a body.
Well, in actual fact, that was my next one was start again. So junk the whole thing, start again, and this time don't invite America or the United Kingdom to take
Or
part.
Israel.
Or Israel. Yeah.
Aye. Right, guys. We'll need to wind this one up. Eyes on the prize. David, your turn.
Time for independence. Independence. Independence.
We'll catch you in the
Fantastic.
morning. I'll catch you on the morning, folks, and David and I will be back on Thursday. Oh, well, David will be on Wednesday morning.